you've talked a little bit about the fact that your writing is really a form of therapy. When did you first realize that? Was it with as the shadows grow, or did you start realizing this even earlier than that? Maybe with some of your other short stories, or maybe with When Angels Fail?
The funny thing is, because I wrote an introduction for When Angels Fail, which will be hopefully be the re-edits and everything will be out next year. But I wrote a new introduction for that one, and in that one, I realized that I was doing it subconsciously, and those stories are just angry. Like when I went back to look at them, they were just angry and hurt. Like I could tell, like I knew the person I was at that time, and I could see that like I was trying to get something out, but I didn't realize it. It wasn't until As the Shadows Grow that I really looked at it. It's like, oh, okay. There's a story in there, Dead and Loving It, and I think that's the one that did it. Where it's like that final line in that story, had me realize like, oh shit, this is me. This isn't some character I'm writing, or like, because Dead and Loving It started off with like, it's a funny title, I'll make it about necrophilia, and then once the story progressed, I was like, oh fuck, like this is a real experience that I experienced, kind of thing. And it was there that like once I had that story done, I had to go back and look at everything else, and it's like, oh yeah, okay. So I knew the trajectory of where that collection was gonna go from then on out, and it helped, but it hurt at the same time. It's like, do I really want to continue doing this? Just stop it right here, right now, because it is hard. It's not something that you actively want to look forward to doing every night. Sitting at a table writing stuff. That can possibly like dredge up old wounds. But like once the story finished, it was like a huge sigh of relief. And I think that's why it took me so long to finish that one, because I was hyping that one up for like 2 years, give or take.
And while you were writing that first one, was that during the time when you were sort of using your unhealthy ways of self-medicating?
So I started the self-medicating when I was about 15, 16.
Okay.
And then that one spiraled out of control because I used to work at a nursing home where I was working 8 months straight, no days off, double shifts. And so I needed something to help me up and help me down. And then I got clean when I moved down here to Texas with my ex. And then that's when I started self-medicating with exercise and gym and just going the unhealthy route. I was eating 1 meal a day. I was working sometimes 1 to 4 from like 9:30 to like sometimes 4 o'clock, gym afterwards every day. So like I was constantly moving, not eating a lot. And that was my self-medication there. And it wasn't until afterwards that when that whole relationship ended that I started drinking. And it was Jack Daniels, like 2 bottles a week. Which was like bad. And then it wasn't until I started writing again that like I was able to let that go.